Hello and welcome to the next tutorial. Today we're going to be making one of these. I believe it's called a Capuchino Asesino, which my students think is cool for some reason. I think they're crazy. Let's get started. And I'm going to start this by doing a search in the shapes library for the shoe. This is the one I'm going to use right here. I'm going to just hold down the shift button while I drag this up to the number 15. There you go. I'm also going to click on the settings for the color, and I'm going to change it to brown. That one. Also going to rotate this 22.5. By the way, if you stay inside this blue circle, it rotates to those lines. Makes it a lot easier. Now I'm going to use the torus. That's this one right here. I'm going to change this to 1 in the settings, the tube thickness essentially. I'm going to rotate this 90 degrees. You see that? 90 degrees. And here's a little trick to get this above that work plane. I'm going to click the letter D and look what happens. Yay, it moves up automatically. Now I'm going to drag this, I believe. Yeah. I'm going to hit shift and I believe it's 32. Now, I'm going to 32. However, you can definitely make this thicker, and I do recommend it. I'm going to rotate this so that part of this is coming out of here. I don't know what number I'm going to use, but I'm just going to rotate it. It looks like 67.5. That's great. I'm going to drag that there, and I'm going to move this up. By the way, when you're looking at it from here, the arrow's down there, which is fine. You could do this. I just want to be able to see it while I'm moving, so I'm going to move this up a little bit more, and then I'm going to move it with the arrow key up, and that way. All right. Now the leg, if you want to like stretch it because you want it to be longer, that's fine, up to you. But change it afterwards. Don't change it now because you're going to try to follow mine and then make it better. Obviously, we don't want the legs to look like this, so I'm going to erase part of the leg with this box. I want you to look carefully at where I'm placing this. I want to get rid of everything that's from here that way. So I'm going to put the box very close to there. See that? That way, nothing's sticking out back here. In fact, I might move it a little. There you go. Now, I also want the box to get rid of. Let me see. I'm going to get rid of some of this over here. That's great. I'm going to group these two by selecting both of them and then grouping. Control G. I'm going to get another box and I'm just going to go straight up. Now, why didn't I do that before? The other box was going right about here and I didn't want to cut that part off. So this part I will group. There. So I got that part. I'm going to select both. Control D, or that button right there. And then I'm going to click the letter M, or mirror. And I want it to be over here, so I want the one that's pointing to where I want it to go. I'm going to click here. I'm going to hold down the shift button and move it with my keyboard. All right, that looks good, right? We're almost there. Now we're going to work on the hands. Okay, I'm going to be honest with you. I have never used the hands and the shoes in the same one, but I'm going to do it today. I'm going to put the word hand. There it is. Hand. And again, we're going to make it brown. Yay. I am going to duplicate this, Control D, and then Shift click. I'm going to hold Shift and the arrow. That's what I'm doing here. Now, obviously, this doesn't look like an arm. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to rotate it and rotate it. I'm not going to give you a number because what's going to happen, let me undo these because I want some more of the arm there. What's going to happen is you're going to adjust the arms to the way you want it to look. And I want to stretch this out a little bit. I think I'm going to hold down the shift button and then do this. That way it goes up. There. Now I want that box again. This is an arm. Okay, don't feel bad that you don't know the numbers I'm using because you're gonna make it look the way you want it to look at the very end. So don't worry about this. I'm showing you the method essentially to get to where I'm going. Did that group? Yeah. Okay. Great. And at the end, I'm probably gonna cut it anyway. So let's move this up. Looks really weird, I know. But let me rotate this. That looks better. And I'm probably going to cut that. I'm not sure yet. Rotate that a little bit. Again, what you want it to be. There's a little bit of that sticking out. So very quickly, let's just get this, because, you know, the focus isn't the hands. The focus is really the cup. So I'm going to hold that, shift and click on this, and then Control G to group. I'll move this back just with the arrow key. Boop. There it is. Okay, great. And of course, I'm going to duplicate this after, duplicate it after I select it. I'm going to hold the shift button and then drag it over here. And then I'm going to do what I did before. Click the letter M, which is the shortcut for this one, the mirror tool, and there we go. So we got most of it, right? I mean, not most of it. We have the appendages. We'll do the sword later. By the way, if you wait to the very end, I'm going to show you how you can print this very quickly. Well, not very quickly, faster. When I printed this, it took 30 hours. You can get it down to 21 hours if you just wait till the very end. I'll tell you about that later, but 9 hours, big difference. And it was much easier to handle the way I did it. Anyways, let's get to the cup. Okay, so let's move these out of the way because we don't need them just yet. In fact, let's move that out of the way too. All right, let's start with the cup. By the way, did you know that we are going to start with the cone? Seriously, we're going to start with a cone for this cup. Now, with working with this, we're going to be working with, let's see, how do I say this? The cone a lot, because I don't know if you knew this, but the settings in the cone allow you to make a cup shape. So let's go ahead and get started with the dimensions. So we're going to make the bottom, I guess, lip of the cup, and here are the dimensions. We're going to want this to be 50, so 50, and then 40. This is the bottom, and 20 and 60. It just makes it smoother that way. So now this is obviously not the way it's supposed to look like, because I'm also going to change these settings here. This one's going to be 98 and 98 all the way around, in case you were wondering where we're going with this. Okay, so this represents the bottom of the cup. Now I'm going to raise this 38 millimeters. So now I'm not sure if you see right next to my arrow, the numbers are there. I can go 38 all the way up here, but you know what? It's just faster if I click on it and type 38. That's what I want. Instead of grabbing a new cone, I'm going to duplicate this one, Control D. And then I'm going to change some of the dimensions. Let me move this over here for a second. Okay. This one, all the settings are going to be the same. Only this is going to change. This is going to be 100 by 100. Can you guess what the top one's going to be? 100. Wow, you guys are amazing at this whole guessing thing. So this one, I'm going to start at the very bottom and move this up 45. Is that what it doesn't seem right, but sure, 45. Well, that is correct. I'm going to group these. We're not going to group them. Sorry, my mistake. I'm going to select both of them by clicking and dragging. I'm going to click the letter L. And I want this one to stay still, and I want this one to move over there. Since I haven't clicked on anything, I'm going to click on this one, and now this becomes the master, and this one will come over here. See? And I'm going to click over here because they are not centered over here. Now they are perfectly centered from the X and right axis. All right, great. So if you want to, you can drag the feet over here because we can see it's already there. You can feel it, right? Oh, we should probably drag these feet up later. Well, if you want to do it now, because I'm totally going to forget that later. I'm just going to drag them up enough so that they're touching there. Good. We have legs. Okay, now what we want to do is the outer brown cup or brown, I think it's like supposed to be like a cardboard holder so that the coffee doesn't burn you. Or I'm sorry, the cappuccino doesn't burn you. So with that, we're going to take this one. And that's the one that is 100 by 100 by 100. I'm going to duplicate it. I'm going to drag it over here. And this one's going to be brown. So let me go ahead and make that brown. Now, this one is going to be the same height as that one. However, this is going to be a little bit bigger. So we're going to change all of them to 102. Whoa, apparently I hit the wrong number there. 102. And do I have one? Yep, 102 as well. Who would have guessed it? Okay, so now we need to remove some of these. So I'm going to bring down these boxes, and each one of these boxes is going to be 105. Here's my little trick to make this a little bit faster. I shift and clicked it. Oh, let me just try it again. I'm going to hold the shift button down and drag this over. And then halfway through, I'm just going to click on it and put 105. Look what happens. It becomes a perfect cube, and each side is 105. Now, I don't want it to be that tall. So I'm going to change this to 15. I'm going to need 2 more of these. Control D, which is duplicate, and then Control D shows up over there. We'll deal with these later. This one is a height of 15. This one needs to be height of 33. And while we're at it, let's just make that one 33 as well. Okay, great. Now this one, from the bottom, I'm going to move it up 42. So again, I'll just type 42. Now this one's going to go over here. And I'm going to move this one up 83. I guess I'm doing all the way up with this one. Okay, 83. This one should go to near the top. And then this one, I'm not sure. Oh, I'm going to delete this one because it's just crazy. So I'm going to duplicate this one, Control D, because it's the way I wrote my directions. I'm going to move this up from here and type 50. Okay, so I'm going to select all these right here. And here's what I want you to notice. You can't just assume it's perfect. I'm going to click the letter L to align here and here, the X and Y axis. See? And then I'm going to group this right here, Control G. Okay, now I'm going to move this over here. Now, obviously, you're not going to be able to see it unless it's perfectly. Oh my goodness, did I get it right the first try? I don't know. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to click, I selected both 3 cups here. The bottom one, this one, and this one. I'm going to click the letter L, and let's see what happens. Okay. By the way, I didn't get it perfect because if it were, this would be gray. Okay, so we have this part. Not bad, right? Not bad. So we finished that part. Now what we need is, I think, one of the coolest parts, and that's the eyes. So let's go ahead and grab a cylinder. For the cylinder, I'm going to change this to 26, I believe. Yep, 26 by 26. And the height is going to be 6. Of course, I'm going to change this to black. Why black? I don't know. Actually, it's in the picture I saw online, the eyes looked like it had almost like makeup. Whoa. Did you see that? How it went all the way over there? I'm going to look at, it's easier to control if you have a different angle. Okay. Here, I don't have exact like measurements for this because I'm trying to move this so that it's almost parallel to the cup. So I'm going to rotate using the bottom arrow. Don't use the top one, the bottom one, if you're looking at it from my angle. Again, if you stay in the blue, it becomes harder to move. So move away from the blue circle and then rotate. Now I'm going to use the arrow keys to move it. And then I'm going to look at it from the side and I'm going to rotate this because the cup is going in that, not straight up, it's going in that direction. So now I want the top one. However, because it was so close to the top, I could not see the outer edge. So here, that looks good. All right. Now, this one I'm going to rotate a little bit more. Okay, now over here. Hey guys, this is design work, okay? It's not going to be perfect the first time. You just have to play with it until it looks right. I think we're good. Let me try. Oh, that's too much. You want there to be a black outline here. Okay, so I'm going to bring this sphere now. And I believe I changed this to 60 if I remember correctly in my... I don't remember. I'm going to change it to 60. I just like it smoother. That's just the way I am. And I'm going to change that to white. And the dimensions for this one in particular are going to be 25.6. So let's go ahead and get started. 25.6 and 25.6 and 25.6. There. All right. So, whoa. Now it looks like it's bigger than that thing, and I don't know, maybe it is. I'm just going to move it down a little bit. I think we're good. I think it's okay. I know this is me. I'm just going to be a little nitpicky. I'm going to change my snap grid here to 0.25, and then I'm going to move it up slowly. Click. Ah, that looks much better. I like that. Now, I don't want the eyeball to be sticking out too much, so I'm going to be pushing it back with my arrow keys. The reason I use my arrow key is because it's a lot easier to control. And that's a big deal when you're designing things, controlling what you're using here. Okay, I think we're good with that one. So I'm going to duplicate this, the white one, the white sphere, Control D. And just so I can see it, I'm going to move it forward and I'm going to change it to black. Okay, now the dimensions for this one are going to be 19.5. I'm going to shift down and type 19.5. By the way, because I did that, I held the shift button and I dragged it down with, from here, not from there. All of them should be 19.5, and that saves a lot of time. Okay, now I'm going to move it up. Okay. This part you can play with. You don't have to be exactly like mine, because if you want to make the eyes even bigger, then that's fine. I'm going to make them just a little bit bigger. And now I'm going to duplicate, arrow key forward, and I'm going to change it to white. I don't think I duplicated this. My bad. I'll try it again. Control D for duplicate, and then white. And then I'm going to hold down the shift button and bring it down. I believe I'm going to go towards 7. So let me just type it right now. 7.7. Hit enter. Now I'm going to move it forward, otherwise I'm not going to be able to find this thing. I don't know, for some reason that looks huge, but here I am. I'm going to move this up. Now obviously we're not going to have it down there because that would look weird. Oh, okay. I don't know. What do you guys think? It looks like it's looking out into the middle of nowhere, so I'm going to... Okay. I'm happy with this, but here's what I got to do. Check this out. Let's say you want to select these, but it's really hard to select them all. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to select everything here. Now I have the white part, the black part, the white part, the black part, but I also have the cup. I'm going to hold down the shift key, click on the cup, and it's no longer selected, but the bottom one is. So I'm going to click on that one too. Notice I clicked on this cup, the bottom cup, and now only the eye is left. I held down the shift button to do that. Now, let's say that's too advanced for you. You could hit the shift button and then click on each one of these while you held the shift button down. That would also do the same thing. I'm going to bundle them. Okay, that would be this button right there. And then I'm going to duplicate it, Control D, and I'm going to click M to mirror the one I just made. Now I'm going to hold the Shift button and the arrow key because that moves it faster. All right, and let's see. That doesn't look bad. However, I don't want the eyes to be looking in the same direction, so I'm going to ungroup these or unbundle them. And I think I want the black one to be going in this direction. That I think is enough. Again, you want to adjust the eyes, that's your call. Okay, so next I'm going to get a box, make it black, and I'm going to change the settings. And here are the dimensions. Actually, no, this is going to stay the same, but this is going to change to by 10 by 10 by 2.5. That didn't do anything. Let me get rid of that. Accidentally clicked a button. 2.5. Now, this eyebrow is going to be something that you can adjust. You don't have to follow my dimensions for this because some people like the eyebrows to be bigger and some like them to be angrier. So I'm going to rotate that and then rotate it again, kind of like the black part of the eye that we did earlier. And then I'll move it back some. Where you want to put them, generally right there, but you can also move them elsewhere. I'm going to click Control D and then letter M and then Shift again. Again, like I said, these eyebrows, they can go down. Whoa, that is not down. Not down. Some people like them like that. Some like them bigger. Whatever. Your call. This is your cappuccino. You do your thing. All right, so now we're going to work with the lid. By the way, the lid was the one thing that I did here that was the most work. Can you believe that? The lid was the most work. All right, so let's get the torus. Now for this one, we're going to do one HD torus. Don't forget, HD, high definition, I believe is what it stands for. So for this one, I'm going to move it over here because it can get kind of wacky. I'm going to change the settings to 62, 60, 5, and 30. Now, the HD indicates that there are more, it has higher definition. So more shapes in there to manipulate so it doesn't look kind of weird. Before it would look like, I don't know, like it got a flat tire all over the place. It wasn't a good look. The dimensions here are going to be 124 by 124 and this one's going to be 19. I'm also going to make this a hole. Okay, we're going to deal with that later. Now we're going to get a cone. We're right there. So this one, the dimensions are going to be, or the settings are going to be 52. The base radius is going to be 56 right there. Whoa, accidentally clicked on that. The height is going to stay 20 and this is going to stay 48. Now, the size is going to be 112, 112, and this one's going to stay at 11. And I'm going to duplicate this, Control D. I'll move it over here for later. Okay. Now, I'm going to change this to white. This is going to be the, oh, I clicked the wrong one. This one is going to be white. And I'm going to select both of these. I'm going to click the letter L, and then nothing happened. Click the letter L after selecting both of them. This is already lined up, but this one I missed. There. And that, my friends, is exactly what I want. Okay, so I'm going to group these two by selecting both and then Control G. All right. By the way, I'm not sure if you noticed, but it does look like a lid, right? Good. That was my goal. All right. So the HD torus, we're going to use it again. Here are the dimensions for this one. 40, 45, 20. And the last one is going to be 30. Hold on, let me just make sure. Okay, Taurus. All right, so we're going to bring the HD Taurus. All right, we're going to look for the HD Taurus. We're going to drag this over here. Now, the HD Taurus, I'm not going to add extra shapes, but I think it was really necessary to get the look that I really wanted for this thing. So there it is. The settings for this Taurus are going to be 62, 50, 5, and I believe 30 for the sides. Okay. Now the dimensions on here are going to be 90 by 90 and 20. Is that right? That doesn't sound right. Oh, 10. Whew. Now I'm going to change this to white. And I'm going to move this up by 4. Let's just make that easier by going 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I didn't go all the way 4, so I'm going to just click on it, put 4, and there we go. I'm going to select both of them, click the letter L, and I need to click this button correctly. There. Now I'm going to move this up. Now I obviously did something wrong because it's not as big as I want it to be, but I can fix this. I believe in myself. I'm going to change this to, let's just move it up. Let's see what we get when we move it up. 68. No. Oh, there it is. No, let's try 70. Now, when you're following these steps, oh my goodness, really? Let's undo that last one. Here's what I'm going to do. Okay, so when you're following these steps, I was going to say this earlier. If you change the settings first and then you change the size, you're going to get a different result if you change the size first and then the settings. I must have done something wrong, but I'm going to fix this. My goal is to get a lip around here. So I'm going to hit Shift and then drag this up a little bit. That looks like it's too much. I'm going to change my snap grid to 0.1. My apologies. I know your time is important. Oh, that looks like it's too much. Okay, I'm going to drag this down. It's 10.3. That looks like it's too much. So I'm going to hit the Shift button and I'm looking over here, by the way. I want it to be smoother. I'm going to change the snap grid to off, and then I'm going to hold the Shift button down. I want this just a little bit bigger, just a little bit. Whoa, that was more than a little bit. You know what? I'm just going to be happy with that because it does look like a lid, and I'm good with that. All right, so now the last one, this right here, this is the cone. Let me move this over out of the way here. For this one, we can just group, by the way. We can just group it so it doesn't move anymore. This one, we're going to change the settings to 40 and 45. 20 and 48 is going to stay the same. And this should stay at 90, 90, and 20. We're going to change this to brown. And then we're going to align these two. L. And then centered and centered. Good. Now, the original character here has a little topper, and we're going to use the sketch tool to make the topper. All right, so you can make any kind of topper you want. I'm just going to go with this generic one here. And I may have to change this later because I honestly don't remember what it looks like. But I've had enough Starbucks drinks to know that it's something like this. Obviously, I'm going to change the size because this is way too small, but I'm going to select all of them by hitting Control A, and I want them to be rounded. Kind of weird, I know. I'm going to click away. I want this one to not be rounded. I want it to be at an angle. I'm going to click on it, and that's better. I want this one to be at an angle, so there we go. This one also, and that one there. Now I can adjust these. Okay, click away. Move this up a little bit. I think that's good. Now these little lines here adjust the curve. Okay. I'm good with this. If you're good with this, I'm good with this. I think we can move on with our lives. All right, so I'm going to hit Finish Sketch. Too thick, but I'll put 4. Let's see what 4 looks like. Yeah, that's not bad. I'm going to change that to brown. I'm going to rotate this and then click the letter D to move it up. And I'm not sure if you ever use this tool, but I'm going to click the letter W and then click here. Since this is already selected, I'm going to click the letter D. Now it's going to be right on top of this thing. I'm going to click the letter W again and click on the work plane, and that goes away. All right. I think we're good there. Okay, we're going to call that lid done. So we've done the lid. Now we're going to come upon the sword. All right, so the sword. I'm going to start off with these Taurus, or more than one, but we're going to try a little trick here. I want you to pay attention to this. So, excuse me. I'm going to change these dimensions to 5.4, 5.4, 2.4, and the height is going to be 3. Looks like a little baby Taurus. Okay, so I'm going to click on this. Control D. Pay attention here. Don't do anything extra. Don't click anywhere else. I'm going to click on here and move this up. Notice I have not clicked on anything else. I just want it to be touching right about there. Don't click on anything else, but I want you to do Control D again and again and again and again till you have a total of 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Good. Now we have the handle of our sword. Next, I'm going to get a cylinder. Yay. And I'm going to shrink this down to the number 2. And the dimensions are going to be 13 by 13. By the way, if you want your sword to be different, go ahead, change it up. I'm going to group these right here so it doesn't mess with anything. Control B. And then this one's going to be in the right middle of that. Control, or not yet. I clicked the letter L. There. Now they're aligned. I'm just going to drag this to the top. And there. Now we have that part. And I'm going to change them both to brown. Okay. So this next part is an advanced way of making things, okay? Because you got to think in a negative aspect. So I'm going to make this box. This box is going to be 5.5. And then I'm going to change this to 1. And the height to 130. Great. That's going to be our sword. But before we're done, this is how you do this. So I'm going to duplicate this, Control D. I'm going to move this over. And then I'm going to bring a cylinder. I'm going to rotate the cylinder. And then I'm going to, actually, hold on. This one that we just copied, let's make it 150. I learned from my mistake from my previous one. Okay, so now I'm going to drag this over here. And then I'm just going to drag it up. I want it to be shading in here or intersecting these things. Notice it's not intersecting down there. So I'm going to drag it down. Is it intersecting down here? Yes, it is. Is it up here? No. So I'm just going to drag it up. I think we're good. Okay. Oh, not perfect. Now I'm going to move this over a little bit. And then I'm going to move it with the arrow key. Oh my goodness, it's off. It's going to take forever. There, the arrow key. And I'm good here. Okay. I am going to duplicate. Sorry. I'm going to duplicate this one, Control D. I'm going to hold the shift and just go over there. Good. I'm going to group these two. Control G. Now, this is going to be my mold for the next one. I'm going to click this, make it a hole. And now, I'm going to click the letter L, align and align. Okay, now notice I clicked on the red part and I'm going to move it back. Okay, now I'm selecting both of them and I'm going to group them, Control G. And now I'm going to make that a hole. All that work. Can you believe that? All that work. Now I'm going to hold down the shift and the arrow to make it go over there. Okay. All this for a sword. Can you believe that? All right. I'm going to move it to more. Now. I want this to rotate a little bit. Let's say right around there. And now I'm going to move it over. Sorry. I'm going to move this down too. I'm going to click that one and make it a little bit thicker. All right. How does that look? Honestly, here's what I'm thinking. I don't like the way this is going to look when I'm done, so I'm going to delete that one, hold on to that one, make it red, and then I'm just going to keep this. I like this one better. So I'm going to move this up. By the way, that's a long sword. You can change the dimensions if you like. Oh, I should, I guess, try to align it, but I'm not going to, I honestly don't think it's going to align very well because it's curved. Yeah, that's okay. It's aligned in one direction. I'm going to move this up to the center. Let's look around. Does this fit? Oh, not there. I'm going to click the letter F, so this is the center. It's a little bit of red there, but you know what? I'm good. I'm going to group this, make it brown first of all, and then group. I'm sorry, I'm going to bundle it. All right. Why didn't it change to brown? Brown. I don't know. Maybe I'll do it later. Okay. So I'm going to move this over here. I want the arms. Are they one piece? I don't know. Whoa, these arms are pretty far. I'm just going to rotate this. Now, I'm essentially done with this one right here. Oh, you know what I need? I need the headband. Let's go ahead and work on that. Obviously, you can just rotate this however you want, but let's do the headband. Let's go ahead and put this on here because it looks cool. This is grouped. By the way, I selected this. I'm going to click the letter W, click up here. Now click, this is already selected, so I'm going to click the letter D. That means it's going to be exactly right here. And then W again, click down there. Now I'm going to drag this over and then shift and move this. Yeah, I'll fix that later. It's essentially correct. Okay, this one you can, oh, I'll just do it here. Duplicate, mirror, and shift and move over here. Great. Now here's the thing, this part right here, it's like another separate tutorial altogether, but let's go ahead and do it quickly. Let's make it gray because I want you to know what we're doing here. And the dimensions for the headband are going to be the box. Oh, we're going to start with the settings. So the radius is going to be 3.79. This is going to make the box curvy, and that's our goal. Otherwise, it's going to look kind of weird. 13, and then 20, 20, 20. We're good. Now, the size, let's zoom in here. The size is going to be 38.4, and then 16.8, and this is going to be 16. All right, check this out, this movie magic stuff that we're about to do. Excuse me. I'm going to drag this over here, and this one looks like it's too thick. Oh, it's too high. There, I'll move it over a little bit. We're good. Okay, this is how the magic happens. I'm going to select the side of the cup. Mind you, you have to do it from the side. Don't do it from anywhere else. From the side, I'm going to duplicate, Control D. And now I'm going to move it, not with this, but I'm going to hold down the Shift button and the arrows. All right. The headband has to curve with the cup, and we don't have anything that looks like that. So I would click away. I'm going to make this a hole, and I'm going to make this thing go into it about halfway. That's good. Then I'm going to group everything, Control G. Now I'm going to duplicate this, Control D, make it a hole, and then with my arrow keys, move it forward. See? Now I'm going to select just these two things and then group, and look what we have when we're done. We have something that bends. And not only that, it's at an angle like the cup. So now I can get rid of this one, and I'm going to hit the Shift button and then move this over. If you hold the Shift button, it'll keep it in the same plane. All right, looks like that is it right there. Make sure it's touching both sides. Okay, so how did I get the symbol? Well, I did a search for Naruto headband logo. I clicked on this one here. I'm going to right click, save image as, and Naruto. I hope I spelled that right. I would feel bad. Logo. Save. Now I'm going to go to this website, Convert.io. I'm going to choose a file, Naruto, open. I'm going to click here, and I'm going to change it to an SVG, and I'm going to convert it. Blue button's going to come up here, and it's going to say download. I'm going to download it. I'll rate this later. Thank you so much, Convertio. I hope that's how you say it. I'm going to hit save, and then I'm going to bring it in here. Import. Choose file. There it is, SVG. Open. Import. It's going to be huge, by the way. It's going to be huge. There it is. So dramatic. Let's shrink it. And drag it over here. We're going to rotate this. There it is. Let's get it closer to the head. All right. So I shrank this to 13.7. You can make it bigger or smaller, but before we do, I'm gonna make that a hole. Oh my goodness, I made that so thin. I'm gonna undo it. I'm gonna grab it from right there. Good. I'm gonna click the letter F so that it stays in focus. That's what I want. Now, this one's already selected. I'm gonna hit with the arrow key, I'm gonna move it back. Now I'm gonna hold the shift button. This is already selected. I'm gonna hold the shift button and this thing right here, and then I'm gonna group. There you have it. So you're done. However, if you want to print this and it not be a giant brick, because when I printed it, it was so heavy, this is what I'd like you to do. Okay, so I'm gonna select the top part, I hope, and only the top part. Good. I'm gonna click the letter D and then move this over. The trick to save 9 hours and a lot of filament is to print these in parts. But also the legs and the arms, I would not print them like this. I would print them lying down. So let me see if I can get this. I would rotate it this way and then click the letter D. Whoa. In fact, I don't even need to do that one. I can just duplicate this one. Control D, M, mirror, shift, and move it out of the way. Now here's the other part. I'm gonna click, I selected this, I'm gonna click the letter D to move it out of the way. Now I'm gonna make a cone for this one. And here are the dimensions. 35. Actually, no, 50, because I'm gonna do the big one first. And then 40, 20, and 60. Then this one's gonna be 90, 98, 98 by 98, and 102 in height, 102. Then I'm gonna make it transparent. Okay, before we do this, I'm gonna group all these right here. And group, not bundle, group, which means there's going to be this red thing. It's gonna be there for a while because there's a lot of pieces. While we're waiting for this, don't forget to like and subscribe, and that's all our time right there. Okay, so now I'm going to move this over. Looks like I need to make this a little bit taller. My mistake. I want it taller than here. All right, so now it's not gonna be fit perfectly. When I click L, it's not gonna be perfect, just watch. The reason is because the eyes move the center of this from somewhere else. So I'm gonna move this over here. I'm using the arrow keys, by the way. All right. How does that look? Does the rim look good? I'm gonna move it forward just a little bit. And then move forward a little bit more. Okay, so now I don't want it to be hollow down here, so I'm gonna move it up. Let's say 2 millimeters right there. Close enough. Now I'm gonna group this. Control G. Okay, so now I'm gonna do the same thing again with this one. Here are the settings for this one. 35, 50, 20, and 48. Boy, that looks much bigger than I thought, but make it a hole. So you can see what I'm talking about. I'm gonna make this transparent by clicking on the letter T. Okay, now I'm going to select both of them, click the letter L, and align. Okay. Oh, I forgot to change the height on this thing. So let me click here. And the height should be 18. Oh, wait. Did I click the right thing? Yeah, I think I did. Oh, no, I clicked on the wrong thing. My bad. Let's change the height before we go in there. So I'm going to change that to 18. And let's go. It's easier to see it that way. So let's put it here. Let's click the letter L. And there we go. Okay, so now I'm going to group this, Control G. And there's going to be a hole right here. Now you're going to need supports when you print this, but it's going to save you so much time. Again, 9 hours, and this is not going to weigh a ton. Right now, this thing that I'm holding, again, feels like a brick. And when you're all done, you can glue it together. And oh, I didn't do the little things in the back, so very quickly, let's go ahead and do the, I think it's the headband or something. I'm not sure what you call it. So all I did was something like this. It's a little bit more than here. And then I made it curvy. I'm going to select everything by hitting Control A. And then, I just played with this to make the headband more headband-like. I think I made this one like that. And I made 2 of them. I made them brown. I think you guys can figure that one out. And again, you want to print those separately and then glue them on. This one will go back here. Again, you can stretch this if you like and rotate this because you need a headband. Are you really even an assassin if you don't have a headband that looks cool? Again, there you go. Thank you guys for liking and subscribing, and we'll see you in the next tutorial.